The Safe Love Podcast is a powerful podcast with honest conversations about healthy and unhealthy relationships. We break down red flags, emotional abuse, domestic violence, trauma, boundaries, and healing. This channel is about awareness, clarity, and empowerment. Follow me for more talk weekly. Conversation Love Podcast. The Safe Love Podcast.
If I could sit across the room from my younger self for just 5 minutes, there are so many things I would tell her about love. Things that would have saved her tears, time, heartbreak, and sleepless nights. I would tell her that not everyone who says I love you knows how to say love. And today, that's exactly what we're talking. Welcome back to the Safe Love Podcast. I'm host Lindy. Facebook, we talk about healing, self-worth, healthy relationships, and learning love without losing yourself. Today's episode is personal. We're talking about the conversation I wish I could have with my younger self about relationships. Not because I regret my journey, but because some lessons hang with stories. And maybe if you're listening today, this lesson can save you some pain. With that being said, this is the Safe Love Podcast, and I thank you for tuning in every single Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hey Reese, how are you? I appreciate you for tapping in and joining the live. Y'all, I want you to know that this episode is dear to me, and I felt the need to share because we all go through things. There's not a lot of transparency. There's not a lot of things that's in place that can position us to help, or should I say, a resolution to the problem. There's not a lot. So I'm going to give you 7 lessons that you can learn from my story, okay? And I want you to take a pen and piece of paper, and I want you to jot this down. But not only do that, make sure you have the notification bell on every single time that I go live. You are aware of the content that I'm providing for you. So nevertheless, lesson 1. Stop confusing attention with love. And this is a letter style that I write to myself, my younger self, I should say. And back on in my earlier years, I decided to come join in with my podcast. So, dear younger me, just because someone wants you doesn't mean they value you. Some people love the access to you. Some people love the convenience of you. Some people love what you do for them, but real love values from the heart, your time, and your peace. Never mistake being wanted for being cherished. I often like to ask people that I date, are you comfortable or are you acceptable of being loved, or are you acceptable of being needed? A lot of people can't really answer that question because we like to have both of those. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You deserve both, but at the same time, you have to be realistic and ask yourself, which one matters the most? So I'm going to ask you guys to tell me which one matters the most. Would you rather be needed, wanted, or loved? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section which one you prefer. Now, some people love that you always answer. I had to learn to not answer every single time a person call me, text me, email me, because certain people like to suck energy. That's their job. That's their job. That's what they do. They like to suck the energy dry. But because you're convenient, you're gonna always answer. They're gonna call you first, but they don't want to hear the response you have to give, or they're not going to take the advice you give. So you have to ask yourself, do I get all worked up, or do I take this in my head and take this on as if this is my problem? And Jay says he would rather be loved. You would rather be loved. Okay. And Reese said love correctly. Look, let me put that on the screen over here. Love correctly, because you can love me, but who said it's correct for me? It may not be the love that I'm desiring. You know, it may be the love that's all you got to give, and that don't mean that it's right for me. And I'm okay with it. I'm cool with that. But love me correctly. Look, love me when it's hard. When it ain't nothing else. I want you to love me. Okay, lesson two. Lesson two. This here says red flag don't become green because you love harder. And I want you to know, you need to know the difference between red flag and a green flag. Some things can appear to be a green flag, but deep down to the core, that thing, There's a big red flag that's waving. It's waving. I know you see the warning signs. I know you see it. I know you feel it. I know you hoping there'll change. Keep telling yourself over and over and over, I'm in it for the long haul, because I see something in there that nobody else see, but you're not their doctor. You're not their doctor. I know you're focusing on the potential. I know that. A lot of us focus on the potential that they give and not actually looking at who are they to the core of them. The outer shell can be something, but to the core of them, they ain't no good. I almost said something I ain't want to say. They ain't no good. She said exactly. Absolutely. So we need to know what that inner shell is like. You know, forget all the outer shell. It's all glitz and glam. Anybody can make it look good and paint a perfect picture. But who is the artist painting? You know, you have to ask yourself that. But hear me clearly. People are not projects. They ain't your project. Why you feel the need to save them? Something that they could have did. Again, you need to heal the inner child so the adult can have a balance for life. You need to do that. Focus on that. Focus on that. Don't focus on their potential. You need to focus on what they're giving you, the cards that they're giving you in front. They the dealer. Pay attention. You ain't their project. This is not a science project. No, you're not a scientist. You cannot love someone into becoming who they refuse to be. Believe actions the first time. They show you who they are. Believe them. She says, love me on my frequency. Yes. And I'm glad that you said that, because for me, that the frequency that you carrying, or the energy that you bringing, or the space that you holding, to me, that's how I determine the even yoke. And some people say in church religion, if you're not a Christian, or if you're not this, we're not equally yoked. That, to me, mine is totally different. If you're not aligned with what I got going on, or your alignment is not with my alignment, then we ain't on the same frequency. You may be tuning a little bit too much, and that's okay, because you can turn the dial down. But at the same time, I need you to have a positive frequency. I need the waves to be clear. You know, she says, yes, ma'am. I need it to be perfectly clear. So believe the actions that they give you. They don't have it together. That's a sign. That's a warning sign. They're not capable. And it's okay to reject It's okay to reject. And you want to do it earlier on so you can save yourself the anguish. Save it. Number 3, learn to leave the first time you're disrespected. Now, y'all, I know we done all been there. Somebody say they may have been just had a bad day today. No, that's who they are, baby. That's who they are. That's what they bringing. That's what they showing you. You disrespect me one, you'll do it again. If I allow you to do it, that means you have an opportunity to do it again. So I can cut you off at the first sign of disrespect. Because if you know me and you know the energy that I carry, why would you be disrespectful? You know, we can agree to disagree and we can say, hey, I see why you said it that way. We have to see other people's point of view. We can't just say, oh, I don't like this. No, it's okay. I know you want to give them chances after chances after chances. But guess what? You don't work for the Olympics. You don't work for the Olympics. And I know you don't want to give up on them because, oh, they done had so many people in their life that giving up on them so bad. I just feel bad just giving up on them. I just don't know. I just don't see. Again, you're not their doctor or their therapist. I'm pretty sure if they got insurance on the back of their card, they can call that number and ask for a psychologist. That's not your job. That's not your job. And if they real serious about it, then guess what? They'll get some help. It wouldn't be forceful. They'll be like, okay. She says, right. Don't close your eyes on the red flag. And some people, they tune them out. I've had my own share of red flags that I saw when people that I just ignored because of the comical time that we had together. I feel like on the outer shell was an amazing person, but the internal person was damaged too far of repair for me, should I say. But staying where you are repeatedly being disrespected doesn't make you loyal. It doesn't make you loyalty. It doesn't get, nah. Nope. It teaches people who and what you would tolerate. If you tolerate the disrespect, if you tolerate the embarrassment, the disrespect so bad you out in public, they embarrassing you to the core. And all you keep saying is, wait till I get home. Wait till I get out this car. Jay says, I did it too. Understandable. Now, we ain't waiting till we get out this car. We ain't waiting till we on a date, baby. I will catch you Uber, Lyft, train, bus, cab on up out of here. Sorry, not sorry. You know, the sooner you leave unhealthy relationship, the faster you heal. The sooner you leave, the faster you gonna heal. And when you become in the healing state, you're going to see those flags off the rip. The moment you see, you're going to say, oh, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I ain't got to stay here. I ain't got to deal with this. I see the flag and I'm checking out. You know, you will identify them more quickly. Definitely do. Number 4, you don't need a relationship to feel complete. This here is the biggest one for me. And I try to talk to younger women. I try to teach them things. And some people, they just don't get it. And I don't fault them. I fault the environment they was raised in. Everybody's not in the position to receive the healing that you're offering. Everybody's not in the position to receive whatever it is that you're trying to say. Not to say that you're wrong, they're just not in the position to receive that. And that's okay. But telling the young people, you don't need a relationship. Look, you can have a relationship with yourself. You know, have a relationship with yourself. Say, hey, look, self, we know about the red flags. We know about the disrespect. No. I don't need to feel sexy to be in, I don't, because I'm in a relationship. That's the only time I feel sexy with myself. No, 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 no. The younger me spent too much time thinking happiness was waiting inside of another person. I've been there. The younger me in my early 20s, I've been there. That's why I'm able to be able to tell the story. I'm not just a perfect angel or sit up here on the platform and fill y'all with lies. The stuff I talk about 9 times out of 10, the stuff I done been through, stuff been through, help people get through, and I'm able to talk about it. I don't talk about nothing I ain't did. I tell you, I don't know about that there. I ain't never did that one there. Look, let me get back to you and let you know, because I don't know that one. Thank you for the follow, pretty. So the younger me spent too much time thinking happiness was waiting in the inside of another person. But happiness isn't found, it's built. Some people don't wake up happy. You think that they got in that place just for one night. It was built by layer by layer by layer by layer by layer, brick by brick. This is the foundation. So you don't just wake up and I'm unhappy. No, it's built. Your relationship status don't mean or it does not determine the value. I kind of figured that, Queen, does not determine the value. You are worthy before the relationship. You are worthy before the relationship. You are worthy during the relationship. Absolutely, you are. And you're still worthy. If it ends, you're still worthy. I'm telling you that. You're still worthy. I wish someone will understand and recognize you're worthy. You know? Thank you for the gifts you're sending. So you don't need a relationship to feel like you totally complete and made whole. Uh-uh. No, no, no. You still worthy before, during, and after. You still worthy. Number 5, love should feel safe. The name of this podcast used to be Domestic Friday. And this is after I end up starting the podcast, I realized that the title of the podcast was not what was popping. Although I meant well, it was because of domestic violence, me talking about domestic violence, but I meant well. But I didn't understand that the domestic part of that wasn't something that was reaching the people. So I changed it to the safe love. Because people that know me know the energy that I carry. They value the stuff that I'm telling them. I'm always called and asked, well, Mindy, what do you think about this? Mindy, what do you think about that? Or cuz, what do you think about this? I know you're going to tell me the truth and be brutally honest. And I'm not doing it in a negative way, you know. I'm doing it in the safe way. So that's how I was able to title this a Safe Love Podcast. So I'm saying this to say, love should feel safe. I love you, so I want to give you the most valuable information, the most valuable content in a safe, loving way. If I were hollering and screaming and pointing and shouting it every single time, I'd be like, that woman crazy. It may work for some people to be a viral, but to the core. I wish someone had told me this sooner. Butterflies aren't always love. You think because you meet someone, you're having butterflies, you feel some type of way. Oh, I think I'm in love with them. Oh, I feel the little butterflies in my stomach. No, see, sometimes that means you got gas. That means you got gas, baby. Sometimes anxiety is there. That works for me too. Is anxiety that's there. Sometimes there's fear. Look, I understand, Jay. Look. Maybe thinking about it's butterflies and be straight gas. You got the bubble good, sis, bro. It's bubbling in there. Sometimes it's fear. It's what you feeling. Sometimes they're nervous. Sometimes your nervous system is trying to tell you or send you a warning sign. The right relationship won't leave you constantly guessing. First thing first, if there's confusion, I'm out of there. I'm out of there. I ain't Love, no, it ain't hard. It ain't hard at all. Safe love feels calm. It's coming. You'll know when it's right. Not when you get the bubble goods, baby. You need to say, let me take a little baking soda and water. Make sure we ain't bubbling and fizzing and over here digestive system. Safe love feels constant. Safe love feels honest. It does. Number 6, stop settling because you're afraid to be alone. I had this one friend tell me, I let her get everything out that she needed to stay on the phone. I did. I let her get everything out, express everything she needed to say. And she was telling me she didn't like this and then that. She been like married for X amount of years and this and that. But she wasn't willing to leave him because she didn't want to be alone and start over. I don't want to take the time to get to know somebody else. I don't want to take the time to get somebody new. They may not this or you're already projecting your life for, and then you wonder why things are lined up and going away because shit, you done projected for 2 years. So what's the point of you calling me is what I asked. What is the point? Your answers be right there in front of you. And I know everybody can't see it. But you ain't gotta be afraid to be alone. You was born alone, you're gonna die alone. Being alone never hurted you. Jay says being alone sucks. Why does this suck, Jay? Being alone does not, it sucks because is a difference between being alone and being lonely. So, have you tapped into your inner self? Have you healed everything in your internal self? Have you been one with yourself? Just because you ain't no company around doesn't mean that you face the obstacles that you need to face or overcome. Have you did the necessary work to look into the mirror? Because you could, man, look, I can go on a vacation alone. I can go to the store alone. I can go to all type of engagement alone, baby. Sit up there like I am the queen on the throne. Do you get out, Jay? That's my next question. Do you get out? She said, girl, you better look. Reese says, I love my solitude. Look, I'm trying to tell you. So, TJ, you said no. So that means you got to start there. You got to start there. See, when you don't get out and when you don't socialize, you constitutionalizing yourself into a confined space, into a confined point in your life where you comfortable with sitting in the air or sitting in the way that you're sitting. So my advice, Jay, will be more open, be more receptive to receiving things, get out more. I'm not saying you got to have a whole flock of people. No, socialize. Do you have any social skills? Exactly. See, Jay, you said true, but I don't really like people. So if you don't like people, you don't like yourself. Because how can you say you don't like people when other people are people and you are people yourself? So you can't be stubborn and set in your ways. You can't. You can't. And you not liking people, there's something wrong with that. And I often say in the spiritual realm, and this may sound ugly, and I know it is, But there's no such thing as introvert. People like to say introvert, extrovert, aha, aha, aha. If you don't want to be around people, this world is people. The condition of the world is people. God placed it to be on earth for people. And if you don't like being around people at no point in time, even when, if it's transactional in the convenience store, you don't like people, then you might well ask God to come take you on out of here. Because at some point, God designed for this earth to be around people. There's no such thing as being in your inner shell and don't want to be socialized with nobody. There's something wrong internally. And I don't have all the answers. I don't. But I've learned that and dealing with a lot of spiritual people, we all know. No. Mm-mm. This world is built upon people. There's no way around it. You can't avoid people. You go to the doctor's office, there are people. You know? So it's something going on internally. Being alone never hurt no one. Selling did. She says that's trust. I'm gonna move on. Staying too long did it. Staying too long. You being afraid, you being alone, you've been somewhere you weren't supposed to be, and now you feel some type of way. You stayed there. Accept less than you deserve. Jay says, I trust no one. He don't trust easily. Look, but to say on wide thing that you don't like people, again, you trust the doctors. So you trust somebody. So obviously there's a problem. There's a disconnect between yourself and the higher realm. You can say I don't trust easily. And for me, it's like saying I don't like to drive, but hell, a concert coming, you're driving. To the doctor, you're driving. Yeah, but I don't like to do it. You're still doing it though. So I said this and I always say this. Excuses are tools of incompetence used to be monuments of nothingness. People who like to use them are deemed as failure. This is something I learned in 12th grade as my 12th grade English teacher taught us. We ain't making excuses. So if there's a problem with you, how long are we going to say this is the problem? Are we going to be 20 years saying I don't trust people? Are we going to be 30 years saying that I don't trust people? Or are we going to start somewhere? Are we going to start to do this? Which one? Which one? Don't let loneliness talk you into a relationship your spirit already knows that it ain't right for you. How can you overcome? How? How? You can say all day, and I hear this a lot. Oh, I did X, Y, Z, and I did this, I did that. No. When I break it down and baby step, baby step, baby step, then you say, oh, I didn't do that. You ain't complete everything. I can say I want to run a marathon. If I don't know if I don't eat right, I can come and say that I'm gonna run a marathon. If I don't prepare myself to run this marathon, I'm not gonna be able to run this marathon. So now I'm telling the cells that's in my brain, Mindy, you can't run this marathon. And guess what? I'm not training properly. I'm not eating properly. I'm not stretching properly. But then I say, oh, well, I ate a salad today. I ate a salad today. Wait a minute. You ate a salad today. I did everything I was supposed to do to prepare myself, but I got out there and I couldn't even walk but 1 mile. But you ain't prepare yourself. Caroline P, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, when you have exhausted all of your options and went through them step by step, you can honestly say that I did the necessary thing. I took the necessary steps We can't be stubborn and set in our ways, and you don't want to move from where you are, but you want to be healed. No, we can't do that. Mm-mm. So don't let loneliness talk you into these different relationships that you know you can't handle. Number 7, protect your peace like it's priceless. My peace is not up for negotiation. You can be assassination. You can give me an explanation. It's not up for negotiable. We're not here. Protecting your peace is priceless because it is. There will come a day when peace becomes more attractive than the chemistry that somebody's giving you. When consistency becomes more attractive than excitement, we got a problem. When respect becomes more attractive than attention, something ain't right. You know, when all of this happened, that's when life begins to change. It begins to change, and I'm gonna say this because I'm feeling the energy. We got to set aside, and we got to do the necessary work on ourselves. It is, you can have your peace and make yourself lonely or alone by keeping yourself in a place that you're trying to heal from, but you keep dragging yourself. And I like to call it self-sabotage. A lot of people like to make excuses. Excuses. Throughout the last couple of years, I've tried, and I'm not even going to say to people now, I've tried my best to show people what peace looked like. I've tried my best, and in me showing for several years, and it's not even a platonic, it's not even a relationship with the person. Let me say that, not a relationship. This was a friend, and she wanted to sit, but they're still complaining. For me, it's like, think about the people that are on Section 8. Section 8 is a stepping stool to get to the next level. Some people are confined, some people are stuck within a certain area. And some people love the handout that's given to them. Some people love the freebies. Some people love is you giving it away for free. And so I had to realize it's people mindset. When you go ahead and stuck with the mindset of Section 8 is my forever and not a step or not a brick into the foundation, that's when I think society have a problem. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, I'm stuck here because I was laying here and my mama brought, but you don't have to stay there. And then they tote that brick added into the backpack. And now it's years gone by and you ain't done nothing because of the freebies that they were giving out. You was willing to just accept that. I'm not knocking nobody because I used to be a recipient. But at some point, there wasn't an ending for me. I didn't want that for my life. So I said all of that to say, you got to want to change. You got to want to make a difference in your life. And not necessarily everybody, you got to do yourself first. You got to want to make a difference. You got to have to align yourself with people that are going where you're trying to go. You got to get outside of your comfort zone. Healing does not happen to you inside of your comfort zone. You got to get out of that. It's going to feel a certain way. Pray. Petition. You said, got to get out of survival mode. Absolutely. And see, you missed that one last week. So you You gotta. You gotta want something different. You can't keep singing the sad song for 10 years. We can't keep doing it. And ain't nobody finna keep upholding the same thing that's been the same thing for 10 years. What are you gonna do to make it better? Mm-mm. What are you gonna do to make your life better? Everybody can't give you everything. So, if I could talk to my younger self, I would tell her how to avoid every heart. Some lessons she needed to learn. Somebody asked me, would I change my life or rewrite something? No, I wouldn't rewrite nothing. Although those are horrific things that happen, and some people can't walk in the miles. But I don't want to change nothing because it made me for who I am. It made me into a better person. If this not happened, what would have happened to my life? You know, what would happen? But I would remind her little old self. Yes, I definitely would remind her that her worth was never tied to the people who left. It was never tied to who stayed. I would tell her, choose yourself. I would wish I've learned it early. My worth was always my worth. I just didn't know what my worth was. I would tell myself, your worth was always, will forever be yours. No one can add or take away from that. And if nobody has told you that, you deserve a love that doesn't require you to abandon yourself. If this episode touched your heart, I want you to share it with someone who needs this as a reminder. Even if the show over, you can go back to YouTube and collect the link and share it to who it needs to go to. Tell me in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section. If you could give your younger self some relationship lessons, what would it be? I love you if nobody told you. Until next time, protect your peace, honor your healing, and never settle for anything less than safe love.
The Safe Love Podcast is a powerful podcast with honest conversations about healthy and unhealthy relationships. We break down red flags, emotional abuse, domestic violence, trauma, boundaries, and healing. This channel is about awareness,